Should you buy cracked or iCloud locked phones? Today I'm going to show you why it might be a good idea. Coming up next. Hey guys, this is Broke to Beast, where we make videos about starting your own business, online or offline, as well as follow along my own journey. Before we start, if you like entrepreneurship and business content, make sure you go down below and subscribe because we post videos every day about helping you achieve your success. Now, there are two main ways that you will get your phones when phone flipping. The first one is you buy them through eBay, and second one is locally by posting ads on Craigslist or posting ads on Facebook groups and meeting up with people to pick up the phones. And usually the best one of the two is to pick it up locally, because if you pick it up from a regular person, that person will usually not know what type of prices they can get online when they're selling their phones, even cracked or iCloud locked. And so that is why sometimes cracked and iCloud locked phones can be very profitable, because people don't realize the amount of value that they still have. Also, if you fix those phones because you can see that it's cost effective and you can resell them locally, it can also be very profitable for you because people can lower the price a lot more if they have a cracked phone. So how I go about it is usually I post up ads on Facebook groups in my city, and I talk to people and see what kind of models they have. And a lot of people come to me with cracked phones and cracked iPads, for example. And most of the times I can lower the price a lot more because people don't realize that the parts are actually very cheap to change. And this way I can do two things. First one is sell the phones as they are with the cracked parts locally or on eBay, or the second part is to change the parts on the phone, put a warranty on it, and sell it locally as well or on eBay for a much higher price. I usually go for the second one because if I buy a phone locally, the prices that people pay for phones here locally are so high that it wouldn't be profitable for me to sell it on eBay. And so the most I can do usually is to buy on eBay and sell it locally here, because the price difference sometimes can be double. However, if you get a cheap price locally on an iCloud phone or a cracked phone, you can still sell it on eBay, especially in the US, because prices are more leveled out across the field. Now, a very important tip regarding iCloud locked phones: do not try to unlock them. Even though you might know a guy, iCloud unlocking works in a way where people have to have a contact with the database of Apple. However, once Apple releases a new update and people try to update their phones that you sold them to get the new version of the software, most likely Apple will lock it again because it will have that email as blacklisted, and so people won't be able to use your phones, and you'll have a lot of problems in the future, especially if you sell it with a warranty. And if you're trying to establish a long-term business, this is really something I would not suggest, because it might damage your brand and it will just give you a lot of problems in the long term. However, especially locally, I've found out that iCloud locked phones can be one of the most profitable to flip on eBay, because people locally most times don't realize that iCloud locked phones still have resale value, which means that you can lower the price much more, because you can use the argument of, oh, I'm sorry, it's iCloud locked, so I can't really sell it too well, I'm just gonna take it from you, and you can lower the price. So for example, there was this guy that bought my first phone that I flipped. He bought an iPhone 6, it was an iPhone 6s, and it was an iCloud locked phone, and he bought it for 90 euros, but he thought it was an actual real phone. Figure it out, right? Those types of phones usually sell in the market for 180. So I didn't even know why he didn't think it was a scam. So once he got the phone, it wasn't usable. So I told him, hey, the best I can do is 45 euros. And I could actually maybe have gotten lower, but I just decided to stay with 45 because I saw on eBay that I could actually sell it for 90 euros. And that's eventually what I sold it for, taking fees out. So that was my first iCloud locked phone that I sold. I've sold another iCloud locked phone on eBay and it has worked out, but for the most part, unfortunately, people still try to jack up the price of iCloud locked phones in my country, or in my city at least, and so it's not too worth it. Now let's go into cracked phones. Well, cracked phones can work very well and very badly at the same time, because you have to realize that if you have a cracked screen, you have to replace the whole screen. And the problem is, if the cracked screen can't show any light, the LCD is not working. You're not sure if the phone is iCloud locked, if the phone even works, or all of those categories above. And so you have to be very cautious when you buy those types of phones, and you have to contact the seller very carefully. Usually it's better to meet up in person, or even online. You can buy it online, but you just have to be wary of what types of phones you buy. So types of problem that I like to look for are slightly cracked screens. Those are easily fixable. Crack protection of screens that look like the screen itself is cracked, but it's not, it's just a protection. If the screen has lines on it, people think the phone isn't usable, so they'll just sell it, and in that way you can lower the price a lot more. If the charging port is not working, people sometimes think, oh, my phone has died, I can't charge it. And people think it's the phone itself, but it's actually just the charging port, which is a really cheap part to switch, like $12, $15. Oh, my volume buttons don't work, and my power button doesn't work, or my camera doesn't work. All those parts are really cheap to switch, or the battery, for example. All of those parts are very cheap. And if you can find phones that have those problems and people don't realize the value that they still have, so they lower the price a lot more, you can take advantage of it and get a good deal out of it. So let me think about examples of cracked phones that I've sold. Actually, the phone that I'm recording with right now had two problems. The first problem was that the screen was cracked, so I had to replace it. And the second problem was that the charging port wasn't working. And so I paid 90 euros, and the whole setup to change it cost me around 30 euros. So everything cost me 130 euros in total, and I could easily sell it for 150 here. It's not a huge profit, but initially I thought only this screen was broken, so it would give me 50 euros profit, because I would only waste 10 euros in changing the screen. But unfortunately, there were more problems with it than I thought initially. So yeah, that's also one of the things that could happen. People can sell you phones that are actually more defective than you thought, and the sum up of all the parts that you have to change actually takes all the profit away from you, especially with eBay, with all the fees. Anyways, I hope this video helped you understand that cracked or iCloud locked phones can still be very valuable when buying and selling phones. And sometimes new resellers shy away from these products because they're not sure, they think they're going to get scammed. And in a way you can get scammed, but if you understand that the market is more towards shining phones with no problems, and if you go for these types of phones which are iCloud locked and cracked phones, well, you can find a few jewels that a lot of people are not looking for. And so you can get more market share from that. And you'll probably have less competition in your local area. Anyways, I hope this video helped you out, and if you think it did, please leave a like. And if you know anybody who this video could help out, please share this video with them. And also subscribe, because we post videos every day about helping you achieve your success with entrepreneurship and building a business. And if you have any comments or questions, or you just want to discuss something, please leave it in the comments below so we can have a conversation. Anyways, I hope this helped, and until next time, peace.